boys and girls. It's wonderful to see you again over here at Mrs. Knapp's Reading Corner. I hope that your week is going great so far. Before we get into our lesson for today, I want us to review what we worked on last time we were together. Last time together, we were reading an informational text from your Inspire Science about the different seasons. And we discussed remembering to use our palm of our hand and our fingers to help us with main idea and details. I asked for you, I read the spring paragraph to you, and I wanted you to think about the main idea and one detail. Remember, the palm is like our main idea. It's what the story, the passage is mainly about, or paragraph is mainly about. And the details are our fingers, which help our palm do things. So let's remember, if you didn't get a chance to do that, try and think about what spring paragraph and with the seasons is all about so that you can tell someone in your house or your teacher when you see her. So for today's lesson, boys and girls, we're going to be looking at a literature text. Do you remember literature is one of Mrs. Knapp's favorite? I love literature. And so it's important to know that we're reading a literature text because now we're going to be thinking in our brain. We gotta switch them and get our brains ready to go, that we're gonna be reading a text that has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and with characters. And the characters may be people, they may be animals, they could be a narrator that's in there that's telling from that point of view. So we've gotta think about the differences that have with literature text, the difference with literature versus informational text. So this week we're going to be looking at a literature text now. And it's one that you're probably familiar with and that you've heard before. And it's a smaller one, so we're gonna go ahead and look at that in just a minute. But before we do that, I want to review characters, because that's what our question is gonna deal with. It's gonna deal with one of our characters that we have in our story selection today. And remember, characters, when we're evaluating them as readers or in a story, we are looking at their physical traits. So we're looking at their physical appearance. So we're looking at what we can see with our eyes. So what do I actually see from that character, from the pictures, okay? Or from the descriptive words that the author is giving me. Because sometimes we don't always have illustrations or pictures to go on. We have to look at the descriptive words that an author uses to describe the physical traits. So we're gonna look at perhaps or read about their hair color, what they're wearing. I'm gonna look and see what color shoes they may have, what color eyes they may have. So those are their physical traits. The other part that we don't see, that we have to do some inferencing with, and as well as look at what the authors are using to talk about the characters, is their personality traits. So when we're figuring out the characters' personality traits, boys and girls, we want to think about their thoughts. What are they thinking in the story, okay? The words, what are they saying? How does that help us understand them? That heart, their feelings, what are they feeling? You know, how are they feeling throughout the story? And then their actions. So what are they doing? So we want to learn to think about what the character says, does, thinks, and feels, as well as what they look on the outside to understand that character better. All right, so the story that we have today is a selection. It's a fable, all right? And a fable, it's just a short story where the character it's usually an animal and they behave like a person, okay? And they learn a lesson. So basically fables typically use animals to learn, they use animals and the animals learn a lesson that we can then apply to our own life. Now this one you may be familiar with. This one is the Grasshopper and the Ant. And it's from Aesop's Fable, all right? And so it's retold. So someone took the original Aesop's Fable and retold it, and an author retold it in their own words and took a different little perspective or spin on it. So listen as I read about the Grasshopper and the Ant. Grasshopper loved to sing and play his fiddle. He played quiet songs and thunderous tunes. Sometimes Grasshopper played frightening music. Then he would hop around in a dramatic way. That's when he caused accidents. Oh my goodness. So far, boys and girls, there is a lot in there. So I'm gonna go back and reread just real quick. Grasshopper loved to sing and play his fiddle. He played quiet songs and thunderous tunes. Sometimes Grasshopper played frightening music. Then he would hop around in a dramatic way. That's when he caused accidents. So already our author is using a lot of different personality traits as well as physical traits. And I, as a reader, can envision this grasshopper hopping all around, causing all these issues, going wild and making loud, ruckus noise. One time, Grasshopper jumped into a pile of grain that the ant had spent all day collecting. The grain scattered across the landscape. I wonder how that ant felt. And by looking at the picture, he doesn't look too happy about that. You should be more careful, Grasshopper, scolded Ant. I worked hard to gather that grain. Now I have to pile it up again. I'm sorry, said Grasshopper. Why not take a break? It's a beautiful sunny day. You'll have plenty of days to gather food. You may think so, Grasshopper, but winter will soon be here. Then the ground will be frozen solid, said Ant. Now is the time to gather food and plan for survival. You should take a break from playing and do some work. Grasshopper said, I'll migrate to someplace warm if it gets too chilly. That way I can keep on playing and singing. But for now, I'll play any song you like to make your work easier to do. All right, so we have two very different characters there, boys and girls, and we have that take different approaches to what they would like to do to get prepared. So quickly, the ant from the text, what does he want to do? Yes, he wants to prepare for the winter. He is gathering, he's using his time wisely to prepare for winter. And if we remember in our Inspire Science, winter is when it's colder. Winter is when everything kind of slows down and things don't grow as abundant as in springtime. So now's the time for Ant to prepare. Now, Grasshopper, what's he doing? Is he preparing? He's saying, c'est la vie, live it up. Let's have a great time. Let's do it now. But you know what? If you don't want to do it, I'll play you a song. Now, if you remember the story and how it goes, what ends up happening to Grasshopper? Yes, he ends up having no food for winter, okay? But with this, that's just a short little fable that we're going to look at. And we're going to look at one of our characters today. And so our question for today, and one you may have similar to that, this, boys and girls, is dealing with our character is we're going to look at the grasshopper. Okay, so for today's portion, we're just really going to look at RL11. So we're going to refer back to the text to help us. So that's when we're using the text to help us ask and answer questions. So we want to go ahead and we're going to look at this question. What did Grasshopper love to do? A, sing. B, cause accidents. C, play his fiddle. D, eat grain. Or E, be cold. Well, am I just going to guess, boys and girls? Nah, you should know me by now. Nope, we're going to go back into the text and we're going to see. So let's go back to the beginning where it introduces Grasshopper, because this is our character that we're going to be looking at. All right, so Grasshopper loved to sing and play his fiddle. A fiddle, boys and girls? It's a little challenging to see the illustration, but the fiddle is a type of violin that you play and it makes music. It's a musical instrument. So what did Grasshopper love to do? Well, it says Grasshopper loved to sing and play his fiddle. So first off, I'm going to go back to my answer choices and evaluate. I see sing, so I know that this is possible. Did he love to cause accidents? No, he did do that, but that's not what he loved to do. Play his fiddle. Grasshopper loved to sing and play his fiddle. Let's keep going and see if there's any more. Did he love to eat grain? Nope, it didn't talk about that. Did he love to be cold? No, because it's not cold right now. It's actually the summertime, because that's what they're planning for. The ant is planning for that winter. So what choices do I have? I have A and C. Now, boys and girls, in my question, did it ask me for two answers? It didn't. So not always are we going to have a question that tells us you need two answer choices. That's why it's very important that we look and we evaluate all the answer choices that we have so that we make sure we get them all. All right, boys and girls, what I would like for you to do on your own, or to tell someone at your household or your teacher, is I want you to think about our character of the ant. And I want you to tell your teacher or someone in your house a physical trait or a personality trait of ant. We talked about how Ant likes to gather things. He likes to be prepared. He's standing there like this with his shoulders crossed. He scolded the grasshopper. So think about the character of Ant. And think about a personality trait or a character trait that you could give, a personality trait or a physical trait that you could tell your teacher or someone in your house to describe that character. All right, boys and girls, it was great to see you again today. I hope that you have a great rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye-bye.